In this video, I'm going to be going over mods that got added to the official game in Ark Survival Evolved and Ascended. The first one we have on the list is the Primitive Plus one, which is quite a weird one because it didn't actually get added to like the just base game, but they did add it to the game as like an alternate version you could play. You could play the Primitive Plus mod, which is just kind of like a separate overhaul mod you could use in Ark Survival Evolved, and they kind of stopped updating it after a while or a long time ago, so it's kind of outdated, but you can still play it on Ark Survival Evolved, and it only works with certain maps because the point of it is to be like a primitive game mode. It removes a lot of the main features of the game, like a lot of just the modern stuff, like the modern weapons, the tech weapons, and stuff like that. And a lot of the weapons are replaced with primitive counterparts, like the flintlock pistol, as you can see on the screen right here. There's just a bunch of different items and stuff that I've added, and just a ton of different gameplay changes in this mod. This mod was also made by Cedric, who was the community manager for a long time, but he actually stepped down like a couple of weeks ago. But he was the one who made this mod, and that's why he got hired to Wildcard in the first place, which is pretty cool. Next up is the custom maps. All of the custom maps were originally mods, and the first one ever added was the Center. Back in 2016, this was a mod map, and this one, when it was first added, was missing a lot, like the Redwoods biome and a few caves and stuff that eventually would get added. Nowadays, they usually release the custom maps fully complete, but back then they didn't really do that as much. But of course, this was the first ever mod map come to official. And the second ever mod map coming to official was Ragnarok. This one was added in 2017, I think in the summer of like June or July, and then on consoles it was added in like August. But this one was got to be one of my favorites personally, as it's just a really great modded map in general. And then they added a few creatures to it, like the griffin and stuff, but I'm pretty sure those were not like part of the mod originally. Those were just added after, which some of them were, and some of the later maps actually did have their own custom creatures that were on them that would get added, which we'll talk about in a second. But Ragnarok was the second ever map, and I think it was pretty dope. Also, when it released, only half of it was done, and you basically had to wait forever. Like the entire desert area was completely cut off, so you couldn't go over there, but eventually it all ended up getting added. The third ever mod map to be added was Volguero, and this one was added in 2019, I'm pretty sure. And this one was pretty cool. There was no custom creatures that were on it when it was added. There was the Deinonychus, but that was a wildcard made creature, so that wasn't part of the Volguero mod originally. But yeah, this is Volguero. Not really too much to say about it. And then in 2020, Crystal Isles was added to the game, and this was also a modded map. This one had been a mod map since 2016, so it had been about like 4 years before it eventually came to the game. So it's cool that we actually got to see this mod map in the game eventually. And this one also added a modded creature that was on the map, which was the Crystal Wyverns. These were a pretty cool addition, and I'm very glad they added them because they fit the map really well. And the second to last mod map that was added was Lost Island. This one was really cool. All of the creatures that were added to it were either part of creature votes or just added by wildcards. So there was no like custom creatures, like modded creatures anyway. But this was a really cool mod map in general. This one was pretty dope. The thing is, this mod map was only like 20% complete when they originally announced that it was coming to the game. So I think wildcard actually helped them finish quite a lot of it. And the last of the modded maps to be added to the game was Fjordur, and this one was a really dope one as well. Definitely a great way to finish off the game. And this one also had the introduction of the Fenrir, which was also a modded creature. And fun fact, this one was made by Garuga, who made the Ark Edition Creatures, so this is actually the first of his creatures to be added to the game, I'm pretty sure. Even though it kind of just is a reskinned direwolf, it still is pretty cool. Next up is the Homestead update, which actually added a lot of the stuff from S Plus into the game. This was basically the update a lot of people had been asking for before it came out, which was everyone wanted them to add S Plus to the official game. They didn't just like port the S Plus mod to official because that'd have been super broken, because a lot of the features in S Plus are super overpowered, but they just added a lot of the main features and a lot of the quality of life features. So first off, they had the triangle pieces that they added, as well as the triangle ceilings, foundations, and all that stuff. They also added double doorways, which is part of the S Plus mod. I think double doorways are awesome. I always use them. They also added the like 4 high large walls, so you could place those down. Those were also an S Plus feature. And they also added the dedicated storage, which was a one I wasn't expecting them to add from the S Plus one, but I think it was a great feature for them to add. Basically, how the dedicated storage works is it can hold pretty much an infinite amount of whatever item you want. There might be a cap to it. I think it might be like 50 or 100,000 or something like that. Someone will probably comment it, but yeah, these things can pretty much hold an infinite amount of resources. They also added the ability to change like foundations into blocks, which on S Plus I think they're just normally blocks, which I think it was cool because I like the block aesthetic a little bit more. They also added the feature to pick up items, but they didn't just make it to where you can pick up structures like whenever you want. You can only do it 30 seconds after, but I think it's still better than not being able to pick them up at all, which is what we had before. And it was nice to have all of these quality of life features from S Plus come to official, as this was pretty much like one of the most popular mods for Ark Survival Evolved because the building was pretty terrible back then. This next one is a lot more recent, but in May of 2024 is when they added the Ceratosaurus, which was like the part of the Ark Editions Creatures, which I think is really cool that they finally started adding the Ark Editions Creatures to the game. So if you don't know, they basically announced that like all 10 of the Ark Editions Creatures are coming to the base game, and they're going to be on Ark Ascended as well, and all the ones that were originally in the Ark Survival Evolved mod as well. But the thing is, they're not all out yet. So we have the Ceratosaurus right now, and also in the same update they added the Ceratosaurus, they added the Zoophanctus, which was like the giant fish that you can leap on land and stuff. And this one is also pretty cool as well. And then we have the Dinosuchus, which was also added in July. This one is a pretty dope one as well. Got to be one of my favorite Ark Editions creatures, and I'm very glad that they added it to official. And talking about the ones that are going to be added eventually, there's a ton of them. I think I'll go over them quickly. First off, we have the Archelon, which actually just got its TLC update, and it looks really dope with the TLC update. And that's the official version we're going to be getting. They're going to be adding the Brachiosaurus as well to the official game. This one is also going to be getting a TLC update, and which also means it's probably not going to come out for quite a bit. And then there's also going to be the Concavinator. This one's also getting a TLC update, as they haven't even added it to Ark Ascended yet. And same with the Concavinator, or not the Concavinator, the Cryolophosaurus. This one's also coming to official and getting a TLC update. And after that, the Acro is going to be coming to the game as well. I'm very hyped to see the Acro in the game, as this one's going to be a pretty dope one. And then there's going to be the Helicoprion as well, like the shark. This one can turn items into blueprints, which I think is a pretty dope ability. There's also going to be the Dinotherium as well, which if I had to guess, this one's probably going to come pretty soon. Maybe in the next few months or so, compared to like the other ones. Also, probably the Acro will come pretty soon as well. It's kind of hard to tell. But those ones that are getting a TLC update probably aren't going to come out for quite a while. And next up we have the Tech Binoculars, but not specifically the Tech Binoculars, but the new function in Ark Survival Ascended where you can see a entire like readout of all the stats. That was from the original Super Spyglass mod, and a ton of other mods as well. It's not really confirmed that that was like a direct port from those mods, but it's pretty obvious that it was inspired by those, as those mods were insanely popular, and there were tons of them, and they weren't in the game, and pretty much everyone is one of the most popular mods in Ark Survival Evolved and Ascended as well. So they eventually did add it in Ark Survival Ascended, and it's quite clear that it was inspired by those mods. So I thought I'd put that one in there as well. But that's going to be it for this video. If you guys did enjoy it, make sure to leave a like and also subscribe. Thanks for watching, and bye.